All right, well, welcome. It's definitely not scary. It's fierce but friendly, as I like to say. Again, write down all the questions. And often the question that you're thinking you should or shouldn't ask is the very same thing that someone else is thinking they should or shouldn't ask. So just ask it. Or if you don't want to say it out loud, throw it in the chat, and I'll make sure that I go through the chat at the end and cover off on as many as we can. Okay, so let's just start with the big one. What is blockchain? So the best way to think about blockchain is, and forgive me, I have two little kids. It's early morning here, so if you hear them, that's where those voices are coming from. The best way to think about blockchain is to look at the internet as Web 2 versus Web 3. So Web 2 was in the year 1999, 2000, and e-commerce was really taking off. So at that point, Web 2 was a way that instead of the internet just being this one-way communication, which was kind of like the intranet, companies would just put a bunch of information out there. You, the user, would be able to access that information. Web 2 allowed this exchange. Now companies could put something out there, transact, communicate with you, sell something. And that Web 2 has taken us through to present day. E-commerce has exploded. Everything we do is on a Web 2 platform of companies who've created a server, and they're doing business with you by exchanging and transacting information, products, or services. Every time you log on to your Chase Bank or you're going into your Sephora account, on Web 2, you're going into that company's server. That server has all the pictures of products, it has all your account information, and when you pull something up, it's taking a copy from their server and showing it on your screen. And that copy is made millions of times every time you're online. It's actually why on your phone, when you go to your Safari or Chrome, you have 10,000 web pages open. And you're like, how do I have so many web pages open? It's always a copy being made. I'm going to try and let this person in. There is no easy way when I'm screen sharing to let somebody in, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. Let me see if I can get that going. Okay, so while servers on Block 2 create copies, Web 3 is a little bit different. So the way to think about blockchain, which is Web 3, is that everything is made on this ledger. So all of the information that is being put out there goes on this endless ledger, and it can never be changed. There's no copies, there's no going back and changing anything. And a great way to visualize it is Legos. And in fact, Lego even came out with its own blockchain. And I think the irony being that it's literally just a big old cube rising and rising that will never end. So every time you look at something on blockchain, what's happening is it's pulling out that exact Lego piece for you to look at. It's not a copy, it's the actual Lego piece. And that's also why you may have heard things about in crypto, don't lose your master key phrase or your passcodes, because there's no way to create another one. There's no customer service that can find what that passcode was. And that's because it's made one time and it's tied to that Lego piece or that block in the chain. In Web 2, you can find out your password because there's so many copies that someone in customer service can go back through copies, reset it, or find it for you. In blockchain, that Lego piece is the original. It's the only one that exists. If you lose the phrase, you lose access to that block. So just think of it like this rolling ledger. And every time anything is done, it goes in there. It's great from the standpoint of transparency. So brands today in fashion, for example, who can easily market to their consumer, we're sustainable, we use these kinds of practices, we're recycling. If that's true in blockchain, then great, they will be rewarded for that transparency. But if they've been greenwashing us this whole time, blockchain is going to reveal that. And that's called product provenance. So in Web3, there's a lot of talk about the benefits of blockchain because it shows the full product provenance, which means from design to delivery on your doorstep, what that journey has looked like for products to be made, shipped, manufactured, produced, and sent around to get to you. And it cannot be changed. You can't fake it. You can't go back and make any adjustments to it. You will see very clearly everything that has gone on in that product life cycle. So blockchain has some really great benefits in terms of that. It also has benefits in IP because of that ledger that's constantly recording everything. For artists, designers, if they've created something and they put that on blockchain, it's now there as an IP protection for life. They can show with complete authenticity, they were the first to create this design or look or asset. And that will really change how we can protect artists and designers who are currently being taken advantage of by the Zaras and the ASOSs of the world. So we can never stop that kind of plagiarism and IP infringement, but now at least these artists and designers can protect themselves. Okay, so that's blockchain. What are NFTs? NFTs can only exist in blockchain. They are oh, I'm gonna try to let this person in. Sorry, guys. I wish there was a way, actually, I'm sure there is a way, I just don't know it, to let people in automatically. My Zoom is set up in such a way that it doesn't. Okay, so what are NFTs? Let's go through the actual definition first. And then as your eyes roll back, I will describe it in an easier way to understand. Okay, NFTs are a non-fungible token. It's a unique, non-interchangeable unit of data that is stored on the digital ledger, which is blockchain. Okay, so let me just tell you what fungible is. Fungible is something like if Maz has a quarter and I have a quarter, we can mix them up and it doesn't matter whose quarter we take back, they're both the same. Non-fungible means the quarters are not the same. So in NFTs, the tokens, what an NFT is, they don't have the same value. So they can't be easily just exchanged. And Maz's NFT and my NFT couldn't just be switched around and I'll just take whichever. Some have more value and do different things than others. So NFTs can be used with things like photos, videos, audio. We've seen a lot of that in the headlines with art. But it can also be used in other ways, things like proof of ownership, again, like art, but also with things like real estate or your pets or even your healthcare, security, travel. There are so many other ways that NFTs are going to be a part of our lives. In fact, they already are. It's just not being talked about because it's all on the back end of companies. And they will start to roll out and consumers will start to see that they have real world benefits, not just the collectible nature that we're seeing. But let's talk about what that collectible nature is. Well, actually, let's talk about what the NFT is as a concept. So non-fungible token. Think about it this way. It is truly a box, like a gift that is filled with awesome things, except it's covered in cement. Only the true owner of the NFT can hold that cement covered box and the cement will dissolve and they can own it. So everyone can look at it, everyone can see the NFT, everyone can take a peek, but only the owner can access the contents and unlock the actual benefits. So a few examples, Juventus, the soccer team, they did an NFT with a gold jersey. And everyone can look at this gold jersey. They sold a limited number of these. And as part of the NFT, you got the picture of this 3D gold Juventus jersey. You also got the AR, so this augmented reality filter. So now on my Snapchat or Instagram, I can use that link that came in the NFT, and only I got the link, and I can walk around in my filters with this cool looking AR digital fashion gold jersey. But it also included some other things that are super cool, like a QR code that gave me a plane ticket to go and watch a game. And then it also included a 5-digit code that I could use to open the owner's box at the stadium to watch the game. So it unlocked lots of other real benefits. It also gave me points now with the Juventus team and club. And the more NFTs I collect, the more points I'll get, which will allow me early access to buy tickets to their hard to get sold out games of the future. So now I'm considered a real insider of the Juventus Club. And the more NFTs I collect, the more value I will get. They're also doing things like concessions when I'm at the stadium. If I am an NFT holder, if I have a crypto wallet, if I buy a drink, some food, I can gain more NFTs and add them to my NFT Juventus collection. And those points keep adding up and creating more real world benefits for a team that I love. And that kind of connection and ownership is only with me. I could then, after a year, maybe I'm a full-on diehard Juventus fan, but maybe I go and marry someone who's not, or maybe I move country and I can't use those benefits anymore. I've curated this insane collection of NFTs, but I don't want to use them anymore. I can sell that. I could sell them off individually. I could package it up and I could sell it. And that value is huge because now someone else, like Sally, hasn't had to do the hard time and do all those things. She can just come and buy that instant insider access and be a total baller at the next Juventus game. So the buying and trading of NFTs really increases in value with the more real world benefits that consumers are seeing. The really cool thing about NFTs is the original creator of the NFT will always get a percentage of the royalties every time the NFTs are traded. That is in perpetuity. And in art, that becomes game changing, but it becomes game changing for a lot of other industries as well. Let's dive in and talk about art first. So CryptoPunks, this is the most discussed, most successful example of what's happening in the art and collectible space for NFTs. They're not that fancy. It's not like the art itself was anything spectacular. What you were buying into was 10,000 unique faces called a CryptoPunk, every single one slightly different, that gave you access to a club, a membership. And with that membership, it gave you a social status, and it gives you access to real world events. They held parties through New York during NFT week in October, in Miami, Art Basel coming up in December. They'll throw more parties. The cooler the party, the more valuable this CryptoPunk has become. And now they're selling for over $1 million for people to trade. When they first launched, they were being sold for a few $100s. So over the course of a few months, your $100 investment has turned into $1 million investment. And with that price going up, the celebrities who want these is going up. So now the parties are filled with everyone from Snoop Dogg to Ashton Kutcher, as well as all the tech bros. Every tech founder is starting to change their profile picture with their CryptoPunk artwork. And it's really showing this badge of honor for a community that they are proud to be a part of. These will continue to rise. And I think what's even more exciting and interesting about the space, CryptoPunks have just signed with CAA. CAA are a big agency that represent talent like Jennifer Aniston, Rihanna, you name it, all the big celebrities in movies, music today. Well, now they represent CryptoPunks, and different CryptoPunk characters will be used in different marketing and media moving forward. And so if they happen to use your CryptoPunk is now worth even more. And every CryptoPunk is given a number, literally numbers 1 through 10,000. So let's say they call out CryptoPunk number 857. 857 is going to appear in an ad for Tesla. Or CryptoPunk number 7428 is now going to be featured in a movie with Adam Sandler. Your CryptoPunk is going to be getting royalties, gaining fame and notoriety, and all you're doing is just hanging out in your living room while your character's face is doing all the work. So in art and collectibles, there are infinite ways that we're still seeing how they can take a life of their own and drive value, drive prestige, and drive real revenue. And again, that first owner of the CryptoPunk for a few $100s is making a royalty every single time it is traded and sold. For artists, a great way to think about the value of what NFTs can provide for them is to look at the Mona Lisa. So the Mona Lisa is undeniably one of, if not the world's most valuable art piece, and it's held in the Louvre. But who decided it was worth that much money? auction houses, the Louvre, literature, academics. Did the people decide that? If you saw that picture as you walk along Central Park and somebody on the side of the street was selling it, would you want to be handing over $500,000 for that? Is it an art piece that you truly, truly love? It's unknown because art, up until this point, the value has been decided by authorities and institutions, and that value has been assigned as a result. The artist never got to enjoy any of those rewards or the upside, but today they can. So the artist can create that same great artwork, but assigning an NFT to it means every time it is traded, bought, sold, whether it's to individuals or to a Christie's, to a museum, they will continue to receive a royalty for the work they've done. And that's game changing. That means that these starving artists can now turn that side hustle into a real livelihood that supports their work. And we all know that real artists have real talent, and giving them the freedom of financial stress and full access to tap into their creative abilities allows them to be even better artists. So the art world is going crazy. And that is why we're seeing so much about NFTs and art in our newsfeed. Okay, so it's really cool to own scarce things. It'd be really cool to own a CryptoPunk. And of course, everyone loves, for a human, the bragging rights. We've been doing it since we were born. The bragging rights that, you know, I've got a chocolate in my lunchbox versus someone else who has a brown bread vegetable sandwich. Bragging rights of who got the latest Gucci bag. It's what fueled our influencer cravings and the content creator rise for who got those Dior Nike collab sneakers. Humans love scarcity, but it's so much more than just that. The ownership and authenticity of your home, your pet, your healthcare. There's so much more that can be done here. I'm going to let this person in, Rochelle. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so all these real world benefits. We talk about something like real estate. How many times do you see the real estate market go up and up and up and up and up and up and up? And over decades and generations, it goes up and up and up and up and up. It doesn't matter where you live, real estate has continued to go up. That generational wealth can be game changing if we could harness it and capture it for early buyers. So imagine the first time you build or buy a home, every time it's sold moving forward, you'll get a percentage of that sale by having that real estate NFT. And in doing so, you've created an NFT that has the architect plans and all the history of the home and all of the information any future owner would ever need to know about that leaky faucet, about whatever wiring is going on, about the updates and upgrades you've made. That transparency can come back to reward you in being really upfront about the asset itself and creating a chain of transparency. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't mind having a royalty in perpetuity for a real estate asset. Manufacturing, I covered a little bit before. You see the product provenance from design through production through delivery of everything that's going on. How about just your pets? You know, when you travel, pets need to be put into quarantine or breeding, understanding what their health history is. It's hard to track and manage. NFTs can create that block and create that proof of authenticity, healthcare, insurance, treatments, all those kinds of things. There's infinite uses, and this is just scratching the surface for what NFTs can really do. What they're going to do next really is blowing our mind, and we're starting to see new companies expanding and providing new platforms for where NFTs can provide real world value. And I think the first one is we're seeing already is taking shape in South America. So currently to buy an NFT, you typically need to have cryptocurrency. There are some that are now being built where you can use your credit card, but at some point it gets converted into a crypto. Cryptocurrencies are things like Bitcoin or Ethereum. And those currencies are really freeing up demographics who don't have the regulated and credible banking resources that we all have come to appreciate. So creators, independent business owners, designers in South America, India, even parts of Europe like Greece, Italy, their money will literally disappear from their bank accounts. I know this firsthand because we work with hundreds of designers around the world at our company, and we'll make transactions and payments to them. They'll receive it, and 3 or 4 days later, it will disappear. Sometimes they get it back, sometimes they don't. They are hungry for ways to be compensated and to have payment programs that are not reliant on local currency and local banks that they can't trust. So there's been headlines as recently as yesterday that places like El Salvador are now opening Bitcoin cities where there'll be no income tax. You will only be able to transact in NFTs and Bitcoin. And it's creating a whole new populace of commerce and exchange and transactions that supersedes any local limitations and corruption. So there's a lot more to come in this space. And if you haven't already opened a crypto wallet and don't own any Bitcoin or Ethereum yet, I'm happy to talk about more of that at the end, or you can send me a message and we can set up time later. I'm definitely not a financial advisor, but I can tell you that this is not going away. And as a very local proof of point, my son recently did a small job, and instead of being paid in cash, he was paid in Bitcoin. He is 9 years old. And my son's first account is a crypto wallet. The idea of cash for our kids and future generations is somewhat ridiculous. They don't understand how that could be useful. Sorry, let me see. Put this person in, good timing. We'll add this next person in, I think Tali. Welcome, Tali. Okay, so I know it's a lot to absorb and a few layers to peel back: blockchain, Web3, NFTs, the different end uses for NFTs. Why is it that we're actually even here today? Why are we talking about this? And let's look around the room because it's mostly women. Well, I know you felt left out, and I want to assure you that it's definitely not too late. But I've also got to tell you that you haven't been left out. You've actually been shut out. This industry is meant to be a metaverse, a space created by an infinite group of creators. That is the beauty of blockchain. It's not owned by individual companies. It's owned by nodes. And nodes are a infinite number of people who can contribute to blockchain and build it, which means it can look like and take shape in infinite ways that are fully inclusive of all diversity. Whereas the internet was built by big budgets in tech, creating servers that were mostly owned by wealthy men. Well, that's kind of what's happening right now. Those same white wealthy men are dominating the newsfeed with things that don't resonate to an all-inclusive audience. If I see one more cyborgs and troopers NFT drop, I'm going to delete my social media. It's really hard to connect with headlines about, cool, somebody in the NFL is getting all of their Bitcoin and all of their salary in Bitcoin. I don't know how the average, Joe or Joanne in Omaha, Nebraska is going to go into their boss's office and be like, so can we talk about opening crypto wallets for our small team here in our small business? It's just not set up to really include others in the conversation. And then you see this, totally obnoxious, and yet an accurate representation of the face of the crypto bros today. And this, while I love CryptoPunk and what it's done to really open our mind about the true power of the space, it's really just a bunch of rappers and athletes trading $1 million for $1 million for $1 million. So you haven't been left out, you've actually been shut out, and that is changing. More and more people are connecting and they are finding each other around the world. And there's a hashtag this is my favorite one. When we are included in the conversation, we're totally put down. Shock, misogyny and sexism in yet another new industry. So there's a tagline, or hashtag, that is going around, and I guarantee if you add this to any of your posts or your LinkedIn profile, you will connect with like-minded, open-minded, friendly, and forward-thinking leaders in the space. It's WAGMI. I realize now I did not make a slide on this, but it's WAGMI. WAGMI, or hashtag WAGMI, is we all gonna make it. And it's those truly inclusive, forward-thinking minds who are using that tag to identify each other. It's an insider hashtag to connect with people who want to help educate you, connect with you, build with you, and let you into the space. All right, one of them, kind of the antithesis of CryptoPunks, is World of Women. I am personally obsessed with their mission. They released 10,000 NFTs that are all unique representations of women. Doesn't matter what color you are, green, blue, black, brown, white, yellow. They've got a World of Women for you. They launched in August, and their premise was built on celebrating women and connecting with local artists. The sale of every NFT and those royalties every time it is traded go back to help three female supporting organizations around the world. And they've actually added in more for different drops they've been doing since. So they're creating real connection, driving real revenue to causes that provide real support for women. They are currently rated the most underrated NFT. They're a top 10 NFT. Forbes and Coinbase call them a blue chip. And now celebrities are kind of becoming woke to it. Gary Vee has been promoting it. Reese Witherspoon just got one. Pranksy, who is a big time artist, NFT collector, is talking about it. They're doing collabs with artists like Kendra J. Kendra J was the youngest woman on tour with Beyonce, and she's creating an album and NFT collection in partnership with World of Women. This is a community that I personally can vouch for because I have just dipped my toe in the ocean and have been met with such love, support, and encouragement from literally a world of women. I've had Zoom calls with people, either fellow collectors or artists from Switzerland to Singapore to Byron Bay. I just met two sisters who I'm going to go meet up for a real life coffee because of WAGMI and World of Women. We're all looking for ways to support, help, and create with each other. So I highly recommend just join the conversation. Follow along and you'll get to see the kinds of women who are really supporting this. It's not all celebrities. It is women who are executives. It is a lot of female founders. One woman I came across, her name is Celine Joshua. She is the new head of Universal Music Group, and she's heading up their metaverse collaborations for emerging talent. And what I love about this woman is she, as I understand it, pitched this to Universal. They said, sure, this crypto thing might be a thing. And she is crushing it. The emerging talent who are launching and collaborating with NFT campaigns are skyrocketing. They are the future. And it's because people who support these artists are now being a part of the ownership. By buying their NFTs, you become an owner in that musician's journey. All right, almost coming to the end, and then we can dive into questions, but I wanted to make sure that you also knew about this new NFT that's starting to appear in news feeds. It's a POAP, not Pope, POAP NFT, and it's a proof of attendance protocol. So it's a way of keeping a reliable record of your real life experiences. Every time you go to an event, you can get and collect a unique badge that is a POAP NFT, and it kind of shows your social currency and credibility of the events you go to. So all those, whether it's entertainment events, conferences, industry events, you can really show your knowledge base and your network and collection through your POAP NFT wallet. And that will absolutely be a social currency, just like having your LinkedIn to have recommendations and who you're connected to. Your POAP NFT will be something to keep in mind for the future as you make connections and see who else is going to similar kinds of events. All right, if you guys want to screen grab this, I'm also happy to share it in a follow-up email. Here are some podcasts. NFTs for newbies. These are all on Spotify, of course. NFTs for newbies. I binge listened to this in like 2 days. It was just simple, great, really easy to understand voices. They have a lot of great guest speakers, and they share that like they're all new to the space, but your trajectory of growth and learning can be very fast. Fashion Knowledge, episode 5. This was a great one. Marjorie Hernandez, she's a fantastically brilliant woman. She is the co-founder of Luxo, Lukso, and The Dematerialized, which are NFT platforms and marketplaces. Her husband is the co-founder of Ethereum, so she definitely knows what she's talking about. She has been fully immersed on both the crypto and NFT side of the space. She sees the future, and she's doing a lot to really lead the charge and make way for the fashion community. Crypto, Web3, and DeFi with Mike Novogratz and Scott Galloway. Mike is a notable investor, particularly in all things Web3. I think that's important to note because when he talks, he is, of course, talking about things he is investing in. He's not going to say that, but he is. So it's a great way to know what is coming up next because he's, of course, sharing all of his insights from his portfolio companies. And Scott Galloway is a thought leader in marketing and consumer connection. So the two of them have a really great conversation in this particular episode on crypto, Web3, and DeFi. Go through LinkedIn. Just type in the search bar, blockchain, NFT, or Web3, and you'll start to see who the executives are. Just start liking their posts, reach out to them. Your feed will fill with lots of great articles and comments that are being posted about it. They're a really receptive community because they're still trying to find each other. So it's a great time right now. If there's an expert in the space that you're like, I'd love to grab a 15-minute virtual coffee with you. I want to hear about your experience, love what you're doing, or I just want to give you a high five. They are open and receptive to your outreach right now. It's only going to become more cluttered. So I'm telling you, this is your window. Go hard, go fast, go now. Go connect. There are blockchain meetups in every single city. If I can find them here in Brisbane, I'm telling you, you can find them wherever you are in the world. I could talk to 1,000 people on the street here and be like, hey, blockchain anyone, blockchain anyone? No one knows what I'm talking about. I found a small meetup group. I went to one event, 200 people. I'm like, where have you been hiding? Yes, let's talk about it. I geeked out with developers. I was in way over my head with them, but I came away learning more, and you will too. So go and find those blockchain meetup events and just go for it. Go by yourself or grab a friend and just be ready and open to learn. And then on Instagram, here's a couple, just add them into to follow. And again, you'll start to see them in your feed, figure out which ones you like or don't like. Crypto Crunch News, just great to see what's going on. You know, they're usually great about what's happening in terms of the El Salvador announcements or the fact that there's a baseball team now taking Bitcoin. They kind of just like give you some of those pop culture connections in the space. Coinbase is a crypto wallet. So really important to follow them and see the news. They're the most credible wallet. I mean, there's a lot out there. MetaMask is another one, which is on this list, but Coinbase is kind of seen as the leader. They also IPO'd recently. So the street has a lot of trust in what Coinbase is doing. OpenSea. OpenSea is a marketplace. Think of it like Etsy. It's where a lot of artists are currently launching all their NFTs. You need to have a Coinbase or MetaMask wallet to buy on OpenSea, but you can definitely go to OpenSea.io and just peruse and see what's happening in the space. VeeFriends is Gary Vee. You know, honestly, he's such a leader in, 20 years ago, it was social internet. 10 years ago, it was social media. And now he's all in on what's happening in NFTs. Follow VeeFriends. You'll see who the main players are. You'll see the headlines, what's going on. That will lead you down a path to follow people that you might connect to as well. Definitely follow World of Women. I just think that it is such a healthy, positive, really connected community. They always respond. If you have questions, comments, they respond within hours. And they're real people. You know, there are some NFTs, of course, that are out there that are scams. World of Women is not one of them. Wavely is new. It's a bunch of young, super smart kids. I mean, I think we need to stop saying young. We just need to say they're super smart. You know, we're all going to have to get comfortable with the idea that 24-year-olds will be mentoring us as 44-year-olds. They just know what's going on because they are building this. And this rocket ship is freaking insanely awesome. Wavely is brand new and they're at the heart of all the fodder going on. They also seem to have a little more balance in their newsfeed that doesn't feel so masculine. Until there's a more balanced, all-inclusive newsfeed, Wavely, I'm hoping might be it. NFT, great newsfeed. I warn you, it's full of cyborgs and apes and crypto punks. It's super crypto bro culture. But I think as part of this journey, you have to know the crypto bro culture to at least know to stay away from it if you want to, or at least know it exists and how they operate. And they do have really good headlines. They are ahead of the curve. Just know that it's a very wealthy male lens with which they share all their news. Amanda Costco. I freaking love Amanda. I had the benefit of talking to her. Again, I reached out to her on LinkedIn. She is the founder of Electric Runway, which is also on there. When you Google her, you'll see that her YouTube videos look old. You know, they're from 2019. That's how far ahead of the game she is. She was talking about this stuff in 2019 that the mainstream media is only now starting to scratch. So follow her. She calls it like it is. She brings a beautiful, fresh female, or actually just all-inclusive perspective. I love her call outs of dear Mark Zuckerberg when he announced Meta and how he shared how we'll all be dressing in the metaverse. And he showed things like his avatar with a spacesuit and then just a black turtleneck and pants. And she was like, I'm sorry, have you seen what's happening in digital fashion right now? And she proceeds to share with you absolutely stunning, gorgeous, animated fashion that you wish could come to life in your real world. So she tells it like it is, an absolute must follow for Amanda. Oh, and that is it. So I'm going to pause here. I know we have a couple minutes for questions. I can actually stay a little bit longer for questions if anybody needs to or would like to. So with that, I turn it over to you. I see some questions here.
So Michelle, how do we get started?
Great question.
Like now I'm like on OpenSea and I'm like browsing and I'm like, how do I start?
Okay, you need to go to coinbase.com and open a crypto wallet. And I'm happy to, even if we need to, we can do a step by step, hold your hand, go through, but go to coinbase.com, open a crypto wallet. A few things to note. Make sure, there's a lot of phishing scams out there. Make sure it's coinbase.com, that it's no typos, no two I's, no two dots, just coinbase.com. When you open, you also need to download the Coinbase app on your phone, okay? That's important because there's a lot of great checks in place. When you want to purchase NFTs, it will make you authorize them through the app. So you need to have the app installed. When you open the app on your phone, you'll be given a 12-word phrase. Note that phrase down somewhere and never, ever, 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 ever share it with anyone. If anybody ever asks you for that phrase, it's a scam. Anybody. Even if it looks like Coinbase is asking you for the phrase, it's a scam. You should never, ever reveal that phrase. There are a few ways people like to keep this phrase. Some, write it down, put it in a safety deposit box. Some create a fake contact name and put it in their phone. Some store it as a photo or an image and, hide it in their house, hide it with their parents. You want to you need to know that phrase, but you can never share it. It's the weirdest new stress of the modern age.
Ask quick question. So if you have a partner, right, would you and your partner know the phrase together? Because one of the things that we were talking about, Adam and I, was like, well, if I have it, can it be in both of our names? Just thinking about at some point.
So Mark and I have our own crypto wallets, but we know each other's phrase, of course, because if something happens, we need to know that. So yes, I think if you have a trusted partner and you're married, I mean, when you're married, what's yours is yours anyway. So yes, that's totally fine. Just make sure your partner is very safe with how he or she keeps your phrase.
And are there any aren't there like certain like USB key type things that some people use? Can you talk a little bit about how that integrates in this?
So there's digital wallets that you can store it in, which is what Coinbase is. It's a digital wallet, so you can store your crypto currency and your NFTs in your crypto wallet. If you are worried about losing phones, computers, forgetting passwords and logins, you can also transfer it to a physical hard drive. It's called a ledger. And Ledger is the most trusted brand that people are using. And it's like it's the size of kind of like your AirPod case. It's about like, this big. And it's a physical hardware that all your assets are transferred on. Great. Again, just, if your house burns down, it's worth having your digital and the ledger together. Yeah.
So question about once we purchase cryptocurrency, I have seen things here and there about like how, people who bought Bitcoin really early, how it's now worth so much more. Right now, when we buy into whatever currency, the Ether or whatever, what is the interest? Is there like an interest rate, an average interest rate, or how does that work with increasing value of the currency?
Yep. So I think this is also answering Maz's question, like who controls the value of cryptocurrency? So values of cryptocurrency are determined on how much people are using the chain. So Ethereum is it's a protocol of blockchain. It's a kind of blockchain. So think about blockchain as different languages. There's different kinds of blockchain. They all essentially do the same thing, but it's a different language, a protocol, if you will. So Ethereum is one. And so you can buy most NFTs today, you have to purchase using Ethereum. There are some NFTs that you have to purchase using Bitcoin or Cardano or other tokens or cryptocurrencies, but let's use Ethereum as the main example because that is the dominant one right now. The more companies are using, the more NFTs are being minted on Ethereum blockchain, the more Ethereum is being used, the higher its value goes up. So that really drives, just like any stock indice, the more it's being used, the more people are buying and selling and trading, the more the value of the Ethereum goes up itself. And that actually, there's a question here. Somebody said, what does it mean to mint? Minting is when it actually gets put on the blockchain. So let's say I'm here, I've got, some digital art, some AR filters and a code to enter the party that I'm hosting for this NFT thing that I've got. It's not an NFT until I physically mint it, like put it on the ledger in blockchain. That's called minting, when it's added to the blockchain and it's now officially there and ready to be traded or sold or stored. And I can mint it and keep it for myself, or I can mint it and trade it right away and sell it.
Michelle, I'm really interested in the creator artist space. So do you have any specific resources for how to actually create something and get started?
That is a great question. I don't have the physical resources, but I have a couple of artists, and I was thinking maybe I could bring some of these artists on to do maybe a specific event around that. But in general, there's no like NFT art. It's whatever digital art you have. If you have a JPEG, that can be minted. It's not an NFT design. It's just regular digital graphic design work. That then gets minted, like saved into the blockchain.
Yeah, sure.
And
so,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, keep going.
Oh, no, and I can have someone then take you through what the actual process of minting looks like.
Awesome, cool. As for copyright, do copyright laws from the Web 2 world automatically apply to the Web 3 world?
Can you give me an example? Like If you're trying to claim that you made a Van Gogh painting or something, or
no. No. So you know how there's often blurred lines between a piece of art that's coming out and someone might be going at them saying, hey, you've completely ripped off my creation, and then it turns into a lawsuit. Does that still apply in the Web3 world? Like, or is it just a completely different set of kind of copyright IP laws? Because essentially what I'm asking, does it start fresh?
Oh, no. I mean, in the world of law, it's, if you can prove that you had this on Web 2 and someone else later puts it on Web 3, I mean, that actually is proof that you had it first. Like Web 3 would show that it came later. So it's
Sure.
still, it's another data point to look at to compare to existing data.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Oh, Maz was asking, in regards to minting, is this an additional step after purchasing? No, so you don't have to mint anything if you don't want to. You can just purchase. So when you open, so step one is open Coinbase and purchase some Ethereum or Bitcoin. So now you have cryptocurrency. Step two, you go to OpenSea, for example, and you can start, you connect your Coinbase to OpenSea so that your wallet can purchase NFTs there. And you find an NFT that you like. In fact, you know what? Let me see if I can just, why don't we just do this? And then you can see it. As we do it, .io. Okay. I'm going to screen share here so you can see OpenSea. Okay. So this is OpenSea here. When you go in, you can see here, I have this little wallet icon. When you go into OpenSea, so open Coinbase. Great, you've done that. Then go to OpenSea. You'll click on this wallet. I'm not going to click on it here because it will reveal my wallet, and I do not. I'm going to be very safe and not share that with the world. And then it will ask you to connect your Coinbase or MetaMask wallet. So you'll then connect your Coinbase wallet, and it will then ask, and you want to make sure that you have your app downloaded because it will then be wanting to authorize through your app. Are you wanting to connect this to OpenSea? You'll click yes, you'll type in your login, and then you're connected. Now, once you're connected, you can start shopping here. And I'm just gonna go to World of Women because that's the one that we love and trust. And you kind of wanna look for, World of Women, for this verified collection. There's certainly very trustworthy collections on here. But the ones that are verified obviously just provide that extra credibility check. So great, I got a World of Women, and I want to peruse and figure out which NFT I'd like to buy. All right, so this data up here is important. So it tells me that they have released 10,000 items. So there's the 10,000 unique women. Right now, there's 4,500 people who own them, which tells me that people own multiple of these. That's a great sign. That tells me that people are collecting them, that they see a future here, and they don't want to just have one, they want to have multiple. The floor price, that's the cheapest price right now that you could purchase one of these. And so that's 2.08 ETH. So Ethereum right now is about 4-ish thousand US. So this has really grown in value. That tells you now that the cheapest price to buy one of these is just over $8,000, $9,000. And the volume traded, that's how many times these 10,000 NFTs have been traded. So each one on average has been traded 2.5 times. When you come down here, you can see all the items and you can see the price. There are different ways to buy them. There are some here that are being bid. You can see here, top bid, top bid. They're often not really for sale. People are just seeing what they could get and what the value is. The easiest way to just find out what you can buy is to click this buy now filter. And these ones here will come up with the results And you can just see here, okay, someone is ready to sell this for 2.08, 2.09. I have the filter on lowest to highest. So I can scroll down and I can see that the value is really quite different. So at the cheapest end, there's one for 2 ETH. Let's change the filter here. The highest end, well, this person's being ridiculous. And that's their prerogative. Someone is willing to, if you have pretty much 10 million ETH, they will sell it to you. So people often do this as a way just to set it and forget it. They don't have to, they're obviously not looking to sell it right now, but they're making it available for the right price. It's more when you get down into some of these prices in the low hundreds that you'll see a lot of people here kind of sit around like maybe this is where the value could be at some point. And the way they're pricing these, you'll notice there's a lot of these World of Women's that have this outfit. That's because that's one of the rarest outfits. So that's what's also driving why some of these NFTs are worth more than others. And when you go down here, you can see, you can filter by this outfit is one of the more rare outfits. Only 98 of these NFTs have that stripy outfit. You can filter by different kinds of eyes. And again, you can see down here that only 57 have this feature of the eye to the left. So definitely get familiar with using these filters and playing around on OpenSea to see what's driving the value of an NFT versus another one in the same collection, because not all NFTs are the same. And that's what I was talking about before, that non-fungible, Maz, we were talking about the exchange of quarters versus NFTs. Just because we both have an NFT in the same collection doesn't mean they're the same value. Also important to note when you go into OpenSea, they have a good feature where you can see the recent sale activity. So if you go to highest last sale, you're going to get actual results of sales going on. So, okay, the last person sold this for 60 ETH. They're now offering it for 200. They're very bullish on what this could be. This person sold it for 29.9 ETH. They're now offering it for 40. So look here at that last. And it's important to note the price is the price the owner is setting. It's not what the collection is saying it's valued at, it's what the owner is saying it is. Look here at the last price. Okay, so let's say we are excited and we have, a ton of money in our crypto wallets. Life is great. And we love her. Look at this lady here, 3616. We're like, yes, let's get her. She's pretty fab. Let's click on her. There's some important information to look at and see. So right now, the current price that the seller is offering it at is 299 ETH, which is the equivalent today, based on Ethereum's current price of $1.2 million. Well, that would be nice. If anybody has that right now and wants me to make a purchase on their behalf, I'm very happy to do that. We can see here the chart of activity and interest and sales over time. It's like, all right, well, this one looks to be a popular one. We can see here, oh, my screen is just huddling for a little minute.
Michelle, can I ask a question about the transaction cost? Like every time it gets bought and sold, you said, is it the artist, the original artist that gets a percentage of that, or any previous owner of it?
It's the person who mints.
Or, okay, the person who mints it. And is that a fixed percentage? Like who determines what percent of a sale that is?
It is. The artist determines that. So usually when you go to click buy now, it will come up with those terms for what you're getting. And it will say 4% of this is going to the secondary royalty. And that percent can vary. 4% is on the low end. It can be as high as 15%, but usually somewhere between 4 to 8% is where the royalty really kicks in. You can see here what's making this rare and unique. Like, okay, cool. Only 3% of these NFTs have the flashy blue facial feature, which is this, I'm guessing the eyeshadow here, flashy blue. 7% have the necklace that she has on. And really interestingly, only 0.21% have these earrings. So that's really driving the value because of the rareness of the earrings here. That's a great quality or feature to have in this NFT. Okay, so you can see here people have made offers. So 7 hours ago, somebody offered $20,000. And that's all good, but you want to look down here and you can see the actual transactions. So 4 months ago, Jeff minted this. So every transaction that this NFT goes through, Jeff7 is going to get that percentage, okay? Jeff sold it to M. Kim's, and that was for 0.37 ETH. M. Kim's killed it, and a month later, after he had it, sold it to Zinning for 15 ETH. That is an extraordinary investment. Well done, M. Kim's. Now, Zinning is sitting on this, and he or she is the current owner. So now Zinning is waiting to see if there's a bid that comes in that they like, or they're ready to sell it for 1.2 million today.
I have a question about this stuff from like a brand perspective. Like, say you have a business and you want to have like a World of Women NFT as like the face of your brand. When you purchase the NFT, are you free to do whatever you want with it, or is there something built in with paying the artist for having?
It's yours. You can do whatever you want, which is what happened with CAA. You could take Woman 3616 as its, and if you own the NFT, if you're Zinning, and you could use it across all your ad campaigns, social media. You could have a whole art gallery with her. You could even rep her out with the talent agent and be like, Woman 3616 is going to make it big in the movies. And you're going to create a whole digital persona. You may even want to create an avatar for her. And then you might want to go get brand sponsorships. That is how like mind-bending this space can go. And because World of Women are also promoting this, you can really make Woman 3616 a star, because they, of course, are going to love that you're putting their cause at the forefront of what you're doing. They'll include her in their feed and to their audience. And it's going to drive up the value of all the other World of Women NFTs. So you could go to town with your woman. At the event they had in New York in October, multiple people came dressed as their woman and got deals. One woman shared during the event that she got a deal. Actually, I'll show you who it was. It was the girl who is blue. She got a Chanel deal to dress her at the event. It was, oh, well, no, they've changed it now, but it was, see this girl with the pearl glasses? There was a blue face version of her with the pearl glasses. And so she had the Chanel pearl glasses and she had a matching bag, and she went to the event and she was like, I'm woman, whatever number it was, sponsored by Chanel. It's like mind-bending, I know.
Like, and it's hard to ask questions because there's really, like, I keep trying to compare it to things and there's really nothing to compare it to, which makes it even harder to wrap your head around.
It
like,
is.
One of the questions is like are Ethereum and Bitcoin like US dollars versus pounds? But I have a feeling they're nothing like that.
They're not. But that's a good question. It's a great question. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two that we hear the most about. Bitcoin only has a set number of coins. So they're not minting and making more. There's a finite number of Bitcoin, which is great, which is why you can, when you purchase Bitcoin, you can own a percentage of it, because you're essentially now buying into like a stock of Bitcoin. It's also why the price is just going crazy. And to hear the forecasters talk about it, this will be $1 million coin in our lifetime. So Bitcoin is used across a number of protocols. Ethereum is used only on Ethereum blockchain. And because it's become the darling of most corporations and NFTs, Ethereum is also rising very quickly, but they're making more Ethereum. So there is not a finite amount of that token.
Michelle, if I'm a creator and I've created something and my 4% royalty is in Ethereum, can the currency change over time? Could I move my
Yes,
NFT?
you absolutely can.
Okay.
So you'll get Ethereum into your crypto wallet every
Yep.
time, and then you can trade and transfer if you're using Coinbase or any wallet. You can trade that into Bitcoin, Solana, Cardano. You can even trade it back into US dollars, and then you can cash out. You can cash out and have it be real, US dollars back in your account.
Okay. And I can do that instantaneously, like pretty quick, like as I would transfer funds between bank accounts and things like that.
Takes 10 minutes.
Got it.
It's really, really quick.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around like the different blockchains, because before this call, I thought it was just like one master blockchain, but it sounds now like there's multiple depending on the market or the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah, they all work together. So think about where Web 2.0 was built on servers, which the company owned the server and built whatever they wanted to build. And their servers can be different, but they all work on the internet. Blockchain is built on nodes. So those nodes are made up by individuals, and those individuals are everywhere. It's very transparent, so you can see who's doing what. They all vote and work together. So it almost makes it indestructible, because a company server can get hacked, a company server can go down. It's one entity that's owned by a company. Whereas these nodes, they're fully decentralized. No one person owns all the nodes or owns any one node. And so they all have to work together, but they can use different protocols.
Is there transparency with like who runs these nodes? Because like, for example, this is just, I'm still wrapping my head around all this stuff, but it's such a foreign concept to me. I'm like, what if there's a technical issue and things crash? Who's responsible for fixing it? Or maybe that's not something to worry about.
Yeah, it's like a mathematical question, because in theory, you could have a globally coordinated effort to corrupt every single person in the nodes and be like, hey, we're all gonna shut it down. But in reality, it would be gargantuan to corrupt every single person. You know what I mean? Like it would take poisoning the well of everyone to do that, but then it would also hurt the very nature of what they do. Like even the scammers, they need this to run. So they can't bite the hand that feeds them, because they need more people to be on blockchain, to keep blockchain going, to keep the value of their Ethereum and Bitcoin up, to actually make it worthwhile taking it. So it's not in anyone's best interests, as warped as that example was, to take down blockchain.
Got it. And it still sounds like these are companies with employees who are responsible for making things functional up and running. It's not totally decentralized to the point where it's like hackers in random places throughout the world controlling.
No, that is a great call out, because it's not. There's not just a bunch of people in their mom's basements, owning and building this thing. Massive public companies are also contributing and building the blockchain as well. Yes. So that's why it's like mathematically, yes. In reality, not really. So let me ask you guys, if you want to drop in the comments or just shout it out, for the next one of this, what area would you love to lean more into? Is it learning more about blockchain, NFTs, crypto wallets, or just kind of what's newsworthy and happening? Because I will tell you, everything, what I talk about on Monday feels like old news to Friday. That's one of the reasons I didn't put together like a proper big fancy polished deck. because like so much is just changing, and all the anecdotal stories about how people and companies are using crypto. I mean, the stadium in LA, Staples, is now crypto.com. What's happening in El Salvador, Bitcoin City, Miami is doing Bitcoin. There's just so much constantly coming out. Okay, investing. Okay, great. Yep. I think that's a great one. Stay ahead of trends. Yep. And be more involved. Yep, great. Artist, creator. Something to note on the investing side, just as you get your head there, is the compound value of when you invest. So if you had purchased an NFT, a year ago for 1 ETH, that one NFT would have cost you, $1,000. Okay. That NFT has gained value, but so too has ETH. So today, that 1 ETH NFT you spent $1,000 on is now worth 3 ETH. Well, Ethereum is now worth $4,000. So it's now worth $12,000. You've turned a $1,000 investment into $12,000 in a year. So by really fine-tuning your NFT collection and working in a protocol that you think will keep rising, like Ethereum, you can really compound your gain. All right, well, everyone, you know where to find me. I will send this recording. I'll send a capture of those resources as well. And please, reach out anytime. I think that this space is just, getting started, getting going. We'll just keep talking about it and build our own community. The CryptoPunks have each other, and we'll create ours.
Thank you so much, Michelle. That was awesome.
My pleasure.
It'd be like the crypto babes.
I like it.
Babes.
I love it. Actually, I was thinking about crypto thugs, like THUGG, the ultimate girl gang. I was like, maybe we're the crypto thugs with the double G.
I love it.
I like it.
Question for you real quick, Michelle, before we go. What is the difference between Ethereum and Ethereum Classic? Do you know?
Oh, yeah, there's 2 layers of Ethereum because we'll get into gas fees next time. Okay, gas fees, thank you. Gas fees were getting really expensive. So Ethereum created kind of a second layer to help combat the gas fees. Gas fees, real quick, are when you go to buy an NFT, it's the transaction fee. And depending on how busy it is on the Ethereum blockchain, there can be surge pricing. So a year ago, it wasn't that busy buying NFTs. So your gas price was like $5. I've paid anywhere from $170 to $200 for gas fees because it's just that busy, and people are getting really pissed off about it because it sucks. If you want to buy an NFT for $30, but there's a $100 gas fee, it's ridiculous. The way to think about it, it's like surge pricing for Uber back in 2013. If you wanted an Uber in Manhattan 10 years ago, it was 27x surge pricing. That's obviously really mellowed and it's not as extreme anymore. So there's an industry belief that this will shake up and shake down and it will settle. It's just a matter of how and when. But everyone's aware of the gas fees can't be that astronomical. So. All right. Until next time, it's great to see you all. Hi, KJ.
Michelle.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Michelle.